Using smoke signals, the Chinese evolved a highly sophisticated and successful signaling system. A beacon lit here in the Gobi can pass its message some 700 miles in only 24 hours, alerting the entire frontier to the danger.
Chariots and horsemen are directed to keep on guard, and the men at the watchtowers to keep a sharp lookout for fire signals and keep the border clear,
says a Han military document. Each beacon was constructed within clear view of its nearest neighbor, so that fire signals at night or smoke in the day could be seen and the message passed on. We know so much about these ancient lives because the dry Gobi Desert has preserved their letters, buried next to the watchtowers where they lived and often died.
Dear all, in this far-off labor camp, I must clear grounds in the middle of the sands.
This remote camp is like a tomb, and I miss you so
Last
much.
week, I received a punishment.
I can't express properly my gratitude toward you, dear elder brother.
Do you remember that
Take
night?
care of our parents.
We drank so much.
Thanks for the food and medicine you sent me. Words can't translate what my heart feels for you. There is always some assignment.
Today, we made 150 bricks. We all look like slaves. The moon is shining through a sea of clouds. When we are on guard, all we can see is this desolate landscape, devoid of any sign of life. The memory of our home becomes so painful, our exile seems as though it will never end.
And many never returned home, ending up in graveyards like this one. Large tombs for generals, small ones for the soldiers. And all of them died defending the Great Wall. But the soldiers' misery did benefit someone. Their presence provided safety from attacks to traders and travelers. Hugging the wall for protection from bandits, caravans left China laden with silk, furs, pottery, and rhubarb, a plant unknown in the West and highly prized as a medicine. This was the famed Silk Road. The traders returned with gold, ivory, and coral. It was a dangerous route, running through some of the world's worst deserts. But at least the wall and its guards stopped raids by nomadic bandits along much of its length. The Great Wall was the start of a wonderful chain reaction for the Han Dynasty. The wall protected the caravans of the Silk Road. The caravans increased and prospered, and the Han grew wealthy and extended their territories to the north and west of the Great Wall itself. Tired at lapping at the base of a wall they couldn't breach, the nomads thundered west and conquered Central Asia and Eastern Europe, threatening the other great power of the ancient world, Rome. When Attila the Hun, the scourge of God, marched on Rome, he was so feared that Pope Leo went outside the gates to plead with Attila to spare the holy city. The meeting of pagan and pope never would have taken place without the Great Wall of China. Legend says that Attila, highly superstitious, retreated because the Pope's name meant the lion. But it was just a short reprieve for Rome. A later fatal invasion finally brought Rome to its knees, plunging Europe into 5 centuries of dark ages. While Europe suffered, China was entering its golden age, the Tang Dynasty, the richest and most powerful rulers in China's history. Scattered throughout the countryside are spirit guardians, protecting the tombs of China's most golden age. One of the few royal tombs excavated is that of Princess Yang Tai, the daughter of an emperor. It reflects the luxurious life these internationally minded aristocrats led, with their fashions imported down the Silk Road and their games of polo. The Tang armies controlled vast areas on both sides of the Great Wall, so it was no longer needed as a defense, and it fell into ruin. To maintain order in the steppes, the Tang preferred to make their mark with trade and diplomacy, rather than with walls, and the best diplomats at the time were Chinese princesses. Every so often, a princess was chosen to marry a nomadic ruler, and was sent off with her eunuchs, servants, and piles of luxurious gifts. Exile was a torture for these princesses. They were used to being treated as fragile, precious, porcelain beauties. Now they were forced to eat chunks of boiled meat and drink fermented mare's milk and sleep with barbarian husbands who never washed. One princess lamented,
"A yurt is my home, felt are my walls. Sour milk is my drink. Living here in a foreign country, I dream of turning into a yellow crane and flying back to my home."
Sacrificing a princess to exile and life with a barbarian seemed a small price to pay for peace. It was certainly a lot cheaper than building and guarding a great wall. But this policy had only short-term success. A new danger was developing in the northern wastelands. China was about to face the most legendary warrior the world has ever known. Beyond the Great Wall, barbarians thundered across Asia, destroying villages, pillaging and plundering everything in their way. And here, China's worst nightmare began with the birth of a baby, his right hand drenched in blood, an omen of things to come. As he matured, Temujin grew strong, mastered the art of tribal politics, and by cunning and treachery, became leader of his tribe, and then of many tribes. By 1204, all the tribes answered to Temujin, and he became the first king of all the nomads. They acclaimed him Genghis Khan, the King of Kings. It was said that his fierce and ruthless warriors never knew what pain and mercy meant. They could ride for days without dismounting. When food ran low, they just sucked the blood of their horses. No prisoners were ever taken, and they often slaughtered whole cities. Populations were so frightened that they would surrender without fighting. Genghis soon turned his attention southward, to the fertile lands of China. The bloody hand at his birth was about to fulfill its terrible destiny. In summer, dried-up river valleys offered easy invasion routes for horsemen bent on sacking the rich Chinese towns of the plains. And this is why these passes were heavily fortified, even though they had let the rest of the Great Wall fall